Report objects in a database are for printing information in a database. So for example, what I'd like to do is create a number of reports. If you click the Create tab in the ribbon, you have a report section. And what I'd like to do is use the report wizard. If I click Report Wizard, it immediately asks me which table or query I'd like this report to be based on. So a report is typically based on a table or a query, and I'm going to go for a table, Products. At this point it then wants to know which fields I'd like to include in my report, so I'm going to hit the greater than sign while I'm sitting on Product ID to choose Product ID. I'd also like to include product name in my report, so I hit the greater than sign again. I'd also like to have quantity per unit, so I click it and I hit the greater than sign. And finally I'd like to see unit price in my report, so with unit price selected I hit the greater than sign. With these 4 fields chosen, I then hit Next. At this point it wants to know if I'd like to add any grouping to my report. Well, the data I've chosen doesn't provide me with a logical group because these are all unique entries, so I'm just going to hit Next. Then it would like to know if there's any sorting I'd like. Well, I would like to sort, and I'd like to sort by product ID, so I choose product ID in the first drop down, and I can sort by up to 4 fields, but I'm just going to sort by product ID in ascending order, though I could change this to descending, but I'll leave it on ascending, and I'll click Next. I then have the option to choose a columnar, tabular, or justified layout, and I'm just going with tabular so that each 4 fields are side by side. And I'll stick with a portrait orientation and click Next. At this point it would like to know what would be the title of my report, so I'm going to call it Product Pricing Report. And when I click Finish, it's going to throw me into previewing this report, so I'll click Finish. And here's my tabular report, portrait, with just the 4 fields I required, sorted by product ID. And as I move between the pages, I can see this is a 3-page report. If I close this report, I'll see in my report section of the navigation pane I have a report called Product Pricing Report. So I'm just going to go down to the report section, and there's my Product Pricing Report, which I might right click and rename RPT Product Pricing Report. Now what I'd like to do is create another report. This report is customers by country. So I'm going to click the Create tab in my ribbon, and I'm going to choose Report Wizard. This particular report is based on the Customers table, so I'm going to change Table Products to Table Customers. Whoops. The fields I'd like to include in this report are Country, so I choose Country. So the order that you send them across is important. Country, Company Name, Contact Name, Address, and City. So I've chosen these 5 fields in this order, and then I choose Next. This particular report I would like it grouped. I'd like it grouped by country, so I'm going to choose Country in this list and hit the greater than sign. And that's my way of saying to the report wizard that I do want to group this report by country, and I'll go Next. Then I get to say how I'd like the information within each country to be sorted. So I'm going to then hit the drop down and say Sort by Company Name. So within each country, I want to sort by company name in ascending order, and I hit Next. I can choose a layout, either stepped, blocked or outline, and I'd like to choose blocked, and I'd like to choose the landscape orientation. And Next. The title I'd like to give this report is Customers by Country. And Finish. And here is a report in landscape, blocked, grouped by country, so I've got all the Brazil country customers together, or the Argentinian customers together. I'm seeing country, company name, contact name, address and city. And I can see that I have a total of 4 pages in this report. I'll then close this report and I'll rename Customers by Country by right clicking and choosing Rename RPT Customers by Country. Now I'd like to create some labels. So I'm going to go Create, and this time I'm not going to choose the Report Wizard, I'm going to choose Labels. The type of labels I'm after are Avery Labels. And so I've got Avery chosen here and metric chosen here, and I'm looking for J8. J8165. Which is being a little elusive, but it is in here somewhere. Here we go. Avery J8165. There it is there. And I'll go next. I can choose the font that I'd like and the font size and the font color. So I'd like to stick with Arial, but I'll take it to 10 points. And I'd like it to be light. And so I'll go next. At this point I can lay out my label, and I want to see the company name first, so I'll choose company name and I'll hit the greater than sign. Then I'll press enter to go down a line. I'll choose address and send that across and enter. I'll choose city and enter, country and enter, and then I'm going to type attention, colon, a space, and then I'll send across the contact name. And that's how I want my labels to be laid out. So I'll go next. I can then sort my labels in any particular way, so I'll sort them by country and send that across. And next. I can then give my labels a name, so I'm just going to call them RPT, Customer Mailing Labels. And I'll click Finish to view my labels. And here are my labels that I could print out at any given time. And I'll close the report. And if I look in my report section, I can see in my reports that I've got customer mailing labels. And if I ever double click that, I would get labels for all my customers. And I'll close that. The final report I'd like to make is the products in stock report. So I'm going to go to the Create tab in my ribbon, and I'm going to choose Report Wizard. This particular report is based on a query, so I'm going down to the Query Product List and choosing the Query Product List. I'd like to include all of these fields, so I'll hit the two greater than signs and send them all across and go next. I had the option to group this report in any particular way, but I actually don't want to group it in any other way. I'm just going to group, what have I got? This report is grouped by category, so I'll choose by category and next. But I don't want to add any additional grouping, just by category, so next. Then I get to sort in any particular way. And I'm going to sort by product name. What I'd then like to do is explore the summary options. So I'll go into summary options. Here I can choose to sum, average, max or min a particular field. And what I'd like to do is sum and average the units in stock. And this will be done at a detail and a summary level. So I'll choose OK. And then I'll choose next. The layout I'd like to choose is block. And I'd like to keep the orientation at portrait. So I'll just choose next. The title I'd like to give this report is Products in Stock Report. And I'll click Finish. So here we have a portrait block style report. It's based on a query called Product List. It's grouped by category, then it's sorted by product name. And at the foot, at a detail level and summary level, it is summed and averaged the units in stock. Now with reports and with forms and all of these objects, you can get into the design. And I might get into the design just to perhaps round these two off. I'll hit the Close Print Preview button, and this takes me into the design of the report. And here I can see the sum function summing the units in stock, and the average function averaging the units in stock. If I double click Average Units in Stock, I get a properties sheet. I can therefore change the format from a general number to fixed. And I can change the decimal places to 0. Just like you have properties in the design of a table, you have properties in the design of a report. If I now want to view this report and print preview, I'll hit the drop down on the View button and choose Print Preview. And as you can see, it's now fixed to 0 decimal places. If you wish to learn more about Access, in Stage 2, we actually look at the design of the reports and the design of the forms and the customizing of those two objects in a lot more detail. Unfortunately, due to insufficient time, we don't get to cover that in Stage 1. I now want to close this report, so I'll hit the X in the top right corner. Yes, I want to save. And here in my navigation pane is my Products in Stock report, which I'll right click and rename RPT, Products in Stock Report.